What's going on, everybody? It's me, Mr. PRIME, coming at you guys with another episode of the Prime Nostalgia Podcast. And my guest at this time is Mike Larkin. How's it going?
I'm doing well. Happy to be on the Prime Nostalgia Podcast. I enjoy your work. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. So let's get right on into it. I gotta ask everybody this question. What was a typical Friday night for you growing up?
Typical Friday night for me. I think for me, growing up, like I was a big Nickelodeon fan, Disney Channel fan. So obviously with Nickelodeon, you had the TGI Fridays. I'd watch your Keenan and Kel's, your All That's, your Kablams, your Secret World of Alex Mack, your Our Real Monsters, anything cartoon and anything Nickelodeon related. Hell, even Hey Arnold was in there. Disney Channel. I'd watch some of the Disney Channel original movies like you had back in the day, like My Date with the President's Daughter, your Halloween Town. So many different, varieties of that are shows like, the famous Jet Jackson, pretty
Hmm.
much anything with Disney and Nickelodeon, MTV in there as well, because I was a big TRL fan, coming home from school on a Friday, going into the weekend, watching TRL, watching pop-up video on VH1, watching 106 in Park on
Oh yeah.
BT. Yes, with Free and AJ, Rap City with Big Tigger. I mean, dude, I was all over the place with that because growing up in New York, channels 52, 53, 54 were VH1, MTV, and BET. So I got it right there, and that was what I mostly watched was Nickelodeon, Disney, and a variety of that.
Hey, that sound like me that sound like me, like all the way almost. Except
Well,
for I think for me, my 100 cents in Park at that time was Roxy. I think they moved to Roxy and Terrence J. I don't know yet, but
yeah, I mean, I know Bow Wow was in there as well. I mean, for me, being the wrestling fan that I am, I remember watching John Cena when You Can't See Me came out, watching him
oh,
perform on Rap
oh
City
my
and
god,
106 Apart.
man.
And now look
I
at him
know
now.
you just
Well, yeah, now look at him now, man. He's the host of Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader on Nickelodeon?
so
So,
I know you like to talk about boy bands, so I'm gonna get this out the way first.
all right.
I know we talked about your favorite boy band. What do you classify as a boy band, just for the people?
Sure. Well, for me, growing up in the 90s, the big three were Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, 98 Degrees. A lot of people classify number four being like LFO with their songs like Summer Girls and Girl on TV. I think anything with boy band is really like bubblegum poppy. I mean, if you want to look at it, New Kids on the Block in a way were like the traditional first boy band. Jackson 5, you could make a case for them in the 70s, but I think for me, I look at it like 80s with New Kids on the Block, and I look at what we had in the 90s and that boom. So yeah, that's what I classify as a boy band. Harmony, same dance moves. It's kind of like that Gary Owen sketch. Everybody does that same, yeah, and then you look at the girl out there. So it's kind of like if you watch that Gary Owen sketch on boy bands, it's pretty much what it is. Very in sync, very in harmony about it.
Okay, so you would consider those to be your top three?
I mean, yeah, that's what I grew up with, man. Like, I'll be honest with you, the days of Columbia Records and getting them off from that magazine and going, being subscribed to J14, which still is in, fruition today. So, I mean, that was my go-to. I mean, the Backstreet Boys, their first album, I had it on cassette and CD. The Millennium album, I'm not ashamed to admit it, I had a Millennium t-shirt when I was a kid. And then, going into the Black and Blue until they, broke up for a little bit, then they came back. And I mean, watching Justin Timberlake's Boom, 98 Degrees. I mean, dude, there's so many of them. But yeah, then there was Soul Decision kind of classifies in there. But there were so many 15 Seconds of Fame ones in like the late 90s, and the Europop scene. But still, like Five is another example, Westlife. But I mean, yeah, I think that's what I classify the top three from when I grew up in the 90s: BSP, Instinct, 98 Degrees in that order.
Okay. I went to BSB when they had a residency. I gotta say it was a good show. I wanted to go to the DNA, but I probably won't be going to that.
Well, I'll be honest with you, man. I think one of the other ones that people forget is I don't know if for those who are not familiar with it, Kazam with Shaquille O'Neal when he was the genie.
Oh, oh,
So one of the Backstreet Boys songs is actually featured in that movie, Boys Will Be Boys, during like the club scene where they're all in the club. Yeah. So Backstreet, that's a little tidbit for those that don't know. Backstreet Boys was featured in Kazam.
I try to forget that movie as much as possible.
Me too.
So
Me too.
yeah, I will put Backstreet Boys up there, but I would say for me,
Yeah.
probably New Edition because they had a good bubblegum pop, but then they also
Yes.
transitioned to a
Like,
genre called New Jack Swing, which that's like my favorite genre.
oh yeah. I mean, look at what Bobby Brown and Teddy Riley did in the day.
Oh yes, Teddy Riley is a genius.
He
I
was.
say he's a genius.
I agree. I mean, look at Rex in Effect. Look at Blackstreet. I mean, the dude it was some of the great music. I mean, look at Guy. Just chill.
Yeah.
Let's settle down.
Like I said, Teddy Riley, Bobby Brown made genius, and then them together was genius. I mean, I like them. Now, I like the Temptations, but I don't think they fall as a boy band group because they were all like adults. So I don't
Yeah,
know how that fares.
I would put them in more like the R&B, the Motown thing, man. I think that's more
Okay.
R&B for them. Yeah. I mean, I grew up with
Okay.
my mom was such a big Temptations fan, so I grew up on that music, man. We still have the miniseries on DVD, with Leon in there. I mean, my God, what a miniseries that was.
Man, that might be my favorite miniseries, honestly.
Without David
Well,
Ruffin, y'all ain't
yeah,
nothing, man.
yeah, I think that's my second favorite movie of all time. My first favorite movie is not even a good movie, but it's Good Burger.
Oh,
Uh,
okay. Funny
yes,
story about that. I got that as a Christmas gift from my mom when I was 5 years old. I love that movie, man. Marcus Houston's in there very early. Carmen Electra's
yes,
in that
yeah,
movie.
yeah.
Shard Jackson. They had an RS All Star cast for that. Abe Vigoda, God rest his soul. Funny from top to bottom, man. Mondo Burger. You better watch your butt, man. Okay. And then he turns around, he's watching his butt.
I didn't even know that was Carmen Electra until maybe like 2 years ago.
Really?
Yes, because I'm like I wasn't paying attention to the person. I'm just like, oh, she's just a regular person. And then I looked, I
Roxanne.
was like, wait a minute, she was in something else. I believe she probably was in like she probably came out with somebody in the WWF, and I was watching that. I'm like, wait a minute, that's Carmen Electra. And then I looked her up, and I was like, oh, wait a minute, she was in Good Burger.
I mean, I wouldn't be shocked, yeah, because that was around the time when WWF, if you look at it, like when they had brought in like Jenna Jameson and Pamela Anderson, it was to escort
Yeah,
Shawn Michaels and Diesel. So it's probably around that time. I think you're right.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I, that's just. I think that's my most nostalgic movie because it got so much '90s stuff, and it's like one of the pivotal movies of the '90s.
Oh
Well,
yeah,
of the Nickelodeon '90s, I would say.
I agree. I mean, dude, I'm so happy. Like I know I heard your show with Christy. I mean, the all that reboots coming back. Like I was such a fan of what they did with all that and Good Burger. Like I'm really curious to see because it's coming out in like a couple days how the reboot goes. I've seen some previews of Lori Beth Denberg as the librarian again that Nickelodeon put on their YouTube. So it's gonna be very interesting to see.
I think it'll be for new audiences,
Yeah,
but I still think older audiences can uh enjoy. They can respectfully enjoy it.
of course.
Like I don't think they're gonna like every single thing, but they will like. How can I put this? Like they would be like, oh, I understand how that would be a good sketch, or I can see it turn it into a good sketch in the future.
I mean, to equate it to like what the Disney did with Girl Meets World, like there was some nostalgia Boy Meets World moments in that show, but it's like, okay, I'm cool with this, but yeah, you're going in this direction. And it's kind of like, yeah, I kind of see your standpoint on that because if you actually look at what Girl Meets World did, it's exactly what I think that they're going to try to do with all that. Bring the
No,
nostalgia into it, but we're
no,
going to with this one.
no, let's not. No, let's
No,
not.
no.
Please.
Dude,
Girl Meets World, I felt was like I don't want to say terrible to hurt anybody's feelings, but I would say terrible as far as an adaptation to
okay.
Boy Meets World.
Fair enough. I'll be honest with you. I only watched the first season, and after that, I was just kind of like, yeah, I'm kind of good because we got Sean in there, we got Angela, we got a lot of the cameos, and Matt
Yeah,
and Eric.
yeah.
Yes, exactly. But it's just like, yeah, after that, I kind of like, yeah, I'm good. Like I kind of got my fill. But yeah, nothing will ever beat what we have with Boy Meets World for
See,
those 7 seasons.
that's where I messed up at. See, I watched every week because I was like, oh yeah, this week's gonna be a good episode. It's gonna be all right. I got disappointed every time almost. And then like on the episode, I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna watch this no more. Then they bring like Sean or Mr. Feeney back. And then I was like, okay, I'll watch it again. And then I'll wait 4 more episodes and be disappointed. It's like you get 4 or 5 episodes of disappointments, then they get one good episode or one solid episode. Then you get disappointed again.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. The only shows I did watch, like the Feeney episodes, just because I think William Daniels is such an icon with that show and the Feeney call, like just to see that, incorporated into the newer season, I think was great. And just that moment where Corey's calling, he's like, "Mr. Feeney," and he goes, "Yes, Mr. Matthews, I'm still here." But that gets you. It gets you because, like I said, it's time, man. Just time flies.
Yeah, man. That may be my favorite show of all time. Boy Meets World, my favorite show. Second, I don't know what's second. I mean, I watch a lot of shows, but I think Boy Meets World may be my absolute top favorite show of all time.
I think for me, because I was also a fan of around the time, I know Keenan and Kel was a big one for me. I loved I loved Keenan
Yeah.
and Kel from like
Yes.
I was
Yeah.
kind of, I'll be honest with you, as like a 4 or 5 year old, I was thinking to myself, like, oh, Keenan and Kel, they're breaking off. I'm like, I'm curious to see how this goes because, we've seen them and all that. And then they knocked it out of the park each and every episode. Like, I like them bringing in, Alexis Fields, and they brought in a lot of people. Nick Cannon
Oof.
appeared on some.
Oof.
Yes.
Well, you know what? I'm not gonna even talk about her, but that's all I
Nope.
gotta say is ooh. No,
Ooh,
no, it's a
okay.
good thing. It's a good thing. Yeah.
Oh, it's a good thing. All right. Well, it's a good thing for me too because I'm right there with you.
She was mm,
Mm.
gorgeous.
Well, yeah, dude. That was also around the time when she was doing like Sister Sister, and I think
And
she
she's on
appeared on
Moesha.
Oisha. Yeah.
Yeah. Whew. Anyways, just gonna who were you talking about now?
Well, we were talking about okay. Well, we were talking about Alexis Fields, but if I wanted to bring somebody else, I think with Keenan and Kel, I mean, dude, I got to talk about Lady of Rage. Was actually, did you ever see the episode where he has 3 dates and one of the dates is Lady of
Oh
Rage?
yes, yes. Okay, that's the one they had to go to the movie theaters and he kept coming out.
Yep,
Yeah, okay.
Alphonse.
Yeah,
Alphonse.
Alfonso. Yep. Oh man, they have so many good episodes. It's like
I
I
know.
think one of my favorite episodes is now I don't know how good of a memory you have with episodes wise, but one of my favorite episodes is when Keenan thinks he's getting in trouble because the principal calls and she wants to see his parents.
Oh
So
yes.
yeah, he hires two people to play his parents, and it's just a fun dynamic to me.
Oh yeah,
So
the one's trying to act like she's like African and he's trying to be all
yes, yeah. Oh my god, and she's terrible at acting. Yeah, yes.
and I think she kept calling him like this is my son,
Keaton.
K Tito, yes.
Yeah,
And I'm like, it's Keenan.
I think either that one or the one they had with Bill Bellamy the first time.
Oh, the yearbook one where they were taking all
Yeah,
those pictures.
yeah. They took all the pictures and all of was Bill Bellamy.
And then he goes, Kel, what is wrong with all these pictures? Nothing, man. We took all the pictures. I don't know. Bill Bellamy, Bill Bellamy, Bill Bellamy, and Bill Bellamy.
Oh, how you know what? Oh man, that is like a funny episode. That one, and then they had a lot of funny episodes, but like those two may be like my top funniest. Cause I will say, even though I like the show, they do have some over the top moments that I didn't like as much as the regular moments.
For me, just because I enjoyed like the singing aspect of Kel getting to sing, I did enjoy like when they're acting and they bring the guy in and they're appearing in the movie there that's being filmed at Rigby's, and Kel's talking about I'm drinking orange rain, I'm drinking orange rain, I'm drinking orange rain.
I like that episode as well.
There's ice in my cup and I'm ready for love.
Did you watch the movie?
Oh, the two heads are better than none. Yes.
Yes. Oh man, that movie is. I could not take somebody singing all those bottles of soda on the wall and then don't finish. Like
It's like you just
you,
gotta stop right in the middle of that, not even finish.
yeah,
You just gotta stop.
yeah, you just gonna stop? Not even gonna. That's something that would get on my nerves too. I mean, oh man, it's a lot of stuff that I like talking about. Kenan and Kel is one of them,
Okay.
and then it's like boy bands in general. I like talking about, and another thing I like talking about is wrestling. We will get to it, but
Okay.
just off the top, how did you become a wrestling fan?
Okay. See, this is kind of funny because my dad, I remember coming down in 2001. This was like the end of, the Monday Night Wars, and WWE had won. This was during the Nation storyline, and Stone Cold Steve Austin was in the back. I was 9, so my dad didn't want me to watch it, so he just told me to, he kind of kicked me out of the room, like, ah. But then what happened was, my mom had a family friend. His name is Carl, and he was very big into wrestling. So the very first, like I'll be honest with you, I knew of wrestling during the Attitude Era days, but I didn't really start watching until we got to the quote unquote Ruthless Aggression era days, where John Cena
Okay,
was coming up,
okay,
Randy Orton,
understandable.
Batista. Yes. So the first event
Deacon
I
Batista.
Deacon, yes, I'll
Yes.
testify with Reverend Devon.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
So the first ever show I went to, man, was East Rutherford, New Jersey. This was the night where Eric Bischoff became the general manager of Monday Night Raw, bragging about beating Raw 83 weeks in a row. And then
Uh-huh.
this is when Triple H and Shawn Michaels, Triple H turned on Shawn Michaels, and then we got into
Oh,
Triple H and Shawn
okay.
Michaels at SummerSlam, and that amazing card, Brock Lesnar and The Rock. So that's really how I got into it, just from a family friend going to the shows and just enjoying it ever since.
Okay. All right. See, I came in kind of later, but I still went back to watch everything.
Exactly. That's exactly how I did it. What year did you come into it?
Whew, I want to say '07. See, I was watching everything else but wrestling, and then when I got into wrestling, then that's when I started actually like enjoying it. Cause I got into like a bunch of other shows, a bunch of other stuff. I was into basketball and football and everything like that. And
Mhm.
then my friend just kept telling me to watch. He was like, "Yeah, watch it, watch." I was like, "I don't want to watch wrestling. It's wrestling, you know." But then back then I only knew like probably Big Show and Undertaker as like names. Those are the only names I knew. And then I watched it and I turned it on. The first thing I seen was Undertaker versus Big Daddy V.
Oh, God rest his
And
soul, former Viscera. Yeah.
yeah, I think this was the first time he used the Hell's Gate because he had put it on his mouth was bleeding.
Yes, I remember that. All right. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
because
think
I know he was in a feud with Mark Henry too.
yes, this is when he came back after Mark Henry beat him and Edge cashed in the Money in the Bank. All right. Okay. You see,
Yeah,
that's not bad though. That was a good time to start.
but I was only watching SmackDown because I thought it only came on SmackDown. So I was watching it in like WrestleMania. I bought Wrestle. Honestly, I don't think nobody should do this, but I bought WrestleMania like without asking anybody. So I just bought it, and yeah, I did that. Yeah, so I just bought it. I ain't tell nobody I bought it. I just bought it, and like when the bill came, it was like, "Do you know that you bought a pay per view?" I was like, "Oh no, I have no idea what you're talking about." So that's how I escaped that one. But yeah, WrestleMania 24. No, not WrestleMania. It couldn't have been WrestleMania 24 because I went
That was the
there.
Orlando one with Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair, the retirement match.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that was a great one, man. I'm sorry. I love
So
you.
it must
Leave.
have been. I don't know what other one it was, but maybe no. Maybe actually, I think I did buy it back. Actually, now I think about it, I bought it back
Okay.
because it was days after when I got it was days after. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna watch that again. So it was on like on demand, I believe,
Well, yeah, when they
and
did the 24/7 on demand back in the day, and now everything is
yeah.
the WWE network.
So I bought it on demand, and yeah. So that's what it was. It was you know it was a fun experience. And then I didn't like the Raw after WrestleMania was my first ever Raw watching.
Nice. So you
So
got to see Leave the Memories Alone, Ric Flair crying, and Shawn Michaels, everybody hugging Ric Flair as he was off into the sunset.
yeah, yeah. Then they introduced me to a lot of new people that I didn't know.
Awesome, man.
So, but yeah, man, wrestling is just. Do you only watch WWE or you try to you branched off? Because I
No,
branched off first.
I
Like I
branched.
say it
So
again.
yeah, I'm sorry. I branched out. Like I got into TNA, which is now
Yeah.
Impact Wrestling, Total Nonstop Action, in 2004. The very first TNA show I watched was when Jeff Hardy made his debut in TNA against AJ Styles on their second
Oh,
anniversary show.
okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, so this was their Wednesday pay-per-views, and it was only like $10 on pay-per-views before they actually started doing pay-per-views. Like this was their Wednesday night shows that were $10 on a Wednesday night. And watching that, I really enjoyed what I saw. I mean, there's a lot of great talents, like we mentioned, AJ Styles, who's now doing his thing in WWE.
Mm-hmm.
I got into Ring of Honor in 2005. The first ever show I actually went to was the night where Bryan Danielson, who we now know as Daniel Bryan, defeated James Gibson, better known as Jamie Noble, for the Ring of Honor World Championship. You got to see guys like Low Ki, Jay
Oh,
Lethal,
oh,
Homicide,
lucky,
Colt
yes,
Cabana. Yes. So
yes.
it was a great time to watch it, man. This is preteen, about to be 13 years old, just watching great wrestling. I used to go to the Sports Plus in Lake Grove, New York, on Long Island, where they used to hold a lot of those shows.
I think for me, it got to a point where I started watching TNA over WWE.
Hmm.
Uh, don't judge me or nothing, but this is around the
Oh,
time the
no.
main event mafia was a thing.
Oh,
So
yes. Kurt Angle, Scott Steiner, Sting, Kevin Nash, Booker T. Yes.
they were so entertaining. I was like, yeah, I probably watch this over Raw or SmackDown. So I was watching that mostly and catching Raw on the like whenever they showed the little replays or whatever. But yeah, I thought they were good. They were real good until a certain person came into the company and like basically told them to pull their pants down and rape them. Basically, is what they did.
Yes.
Uh, well, well, I didn't mean to use that term, but that's what they
I,
did.
I hear you. I mean, dude, when I'll be honest with you, when Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff came in and they did that in 2010, they tried to compete with the WWE in the Monday Night Wars 2.0 that lasted for like 3 weeks, and then they were back on Thursdays. And I mean, different ownerships now. I mean, they're on Twitch on Friday nights at 10 p.m. and they're on the
Yeah.
Pursuit Network that nobody even knows even gets the Pursuit Network. It's an outdoor channel, and it's
I
like,
think
how does wrestling fit on that?
I think they more on Twitch. That they do more stuff on Twitch because
They do.
you don't need the cable to watch Twitch. So I think that's why they
Exactly.
more rely on Twitch.
Oh yeah, it's more internet oriented and it's accessible for everybody to check out.
I mean, but when they put their videos on YouTube, I see they get good views, or at least on certain videos they get a lot of views, like 1 million views and stuff.
Exactly, and I think
I
that's
know,
great for them.
yeah, it's good. It's good. Um, but yeah, like the only thing with TNA is like they even though I like the main event Mafia,
Mhm.
I don't think I don't think every single person in the main event Mafia should have got pushed over like AJ and some people like that.
Well,
Because
yeah.
like they push the older talent over the younger talent. That's
Oh yeah.
just one thing I wish that they didn't do.
Dude, when you have Booker T and Scott Steiner beating Bobby Roode and James Storm beer money for the tag titles, and and I mean you're doing that, you're putting Kevin Nash as the Legends champion, beating all these young
Bro,
guys. It's like, come on.
bro, Mick Foley had the title in 2009.
He did beating Sting in the cage. Yes, when he freaking goes in and he wins the
Oh
title,
my gosh.
going off around Long Island Airport, the MacArthur Airport with the title, having fun with it. My God, yeah, they put it on Mick right as he came in.
Oh man, they did do some bad stuff though. I will say I like them, and now I like TNA, but they did do some bad stuff.
Well,
Um,
that year was the year of Jenna Maraska and Charmel, Booker T's wife, in that god awful match. Remember the Survivor winner, the reality star? Yes.
well, I don't think none could be as worse as the Victory Road match.
Oh, with Sting and Jeff Hardy, that was 2 minutes.
No,
Yeah,
not even that one. Not even that one. There's one with two women. I forgot what the women names are.
yeah, Jenna Maraska and Charmel, Booker T's wife.
That was the one. I thought it was. I could have
That was
sworn
the
it
one.
wasn't Charmel, but maybe it is. I got to go back and watch it. But yes, that match was
Well,
maybe
dude,
yep. Yeah, now I think about it. Yep, that's what it was. Yep.
and then the year later, I mean, they're capitalizing on the height of the Jersey Shore, and they're bringing in JWoww, and they're bringing in Angelina, who wrestled a match in Impact. So, I mean, they tried to capitalize on that. And they
Yeah, I mean, whew, these bring back memories for me.
It is, man. And Ronnie was in there. They put in Ronnie from the Jersey Shore. Well, look, WWE got the mecca there in a way for Jersey Shore. Snooki wrestled at WrestleMania, so she's eligible for the celebrity wing of the Hall of Fame, if you think about it.
Yeah. Anybody that makes an appearance, if you make an appearance for like 2 seconds, you'll be on there.
Fucking Drew Carey was in the Royal Rumble. He's in the Hall of Fame.
I'm surprised that Fred Durst ain't in there, or Kevin Federline or somebody like that.
Oh, but Kid Rock is in there.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. I mean, when I watch, I'm gonna continue to talk about TNA because
Okay.
they don't get a lot of attention like that these days. So I got to give them something.
Exactly. I mean, as someone who has watched them since their original time on when they were on Spike TV on not Spike TV, I'm sorry, Fox Sports Net at like 3 or 4 p.m. in the afternoon on a Friday. Then they go on to Spike TV. Then they go on to Destination America. Then they're on Pop TV, which is the former TV Guide Network. Now they're on the network. Yeah.
I stopped watching it. I stopped watching it weekly when they went to Pop. No, when they went to Destination America.
Okay.
And then when they went to Pop, because I was still watching. That's when Matt Hardy was doing his broken thing. So I was still watching.
Oh yeah, but then when he was Big Money Matt, and then he started becoming broken. Yeah.
Yeah, with him and was it Tyrus? Him and
Yes.
Tyrus, or
The former
him and Tyrus,
yeah.
EC3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. By the way, did you see that video of EC3? Or it's like when he first in NXT and he's got all this energy, and like now he just don't even care anymore.
You see, dude, you're making me all upset because I did see that video and I'm like, you had such promise and you're all happy. Yeah, I'm in NXT or I'm coming to Rocket. Now he's on the main roster on main event and he's like, yeah, I'm here.
Yeah,
Here we go.
See, 3, whatever. Yeah, okay, let's get this over with.
Let's just go. All right, I know I'm probably losing. Just let's go.
Probably. He knows for sure he's losing.
He knows. I'm just saying, yeah, whatever. It's bad.
I don't know how they ruin that though. Like,
I don't. What the thing is, they brought him up so soon. Like he was killing it in NXT, against matches like Velveteen Dream and Adam Cole. Then they brought him up too soon. He beats Dean Ambrose. He loses to Dean Ambrose, and then now he's doing this. He's in purgatory. He's stuck in limbo.
maybe they told Vince what EC3 stands for.
What do you mean he's Dixie Carter's nephew? Damn it!
Oh, I mean, I don't know, because like back, like I want to go back to the 2010-ish when Bischoff and
Hogan.
Hogan took over. That episode that they pushed so heavily, the January 4th, 2010, and they thought they was doing such a good job, but like they had people like Knobs and well not Knobs, the Nasty Boys and X-Pac and Scott Hall. They were the tag team champions. Explain to me why did they get the tag team championships?
So I remember what you're talking about. So yeah, watching the Nasty Boys and Brian Knobs looking like he's about to have a heart attack doing that promo.
Yeah, you can't even get to the ring.
So they did the thing where I believe Kevin Nash won the Feast or Fire briefcase so he can challenge for the tag titles with a partner anytime. So yeah. I think Matt Morgan was down, and then Kevin Nash just came in and laid on top of Matt Morgan for the 1, 2, 3.
This was at the point where I think Matt Morgan had like 3 partners, and he attacked all his partners so he could have the titles for himself.
Exactly. Like I'm the
like Samoa Joe was his partner, and Samoa Joe came back and like just attacked him.
Yeah, Hernandez.
I think it was Samoa Joe or Hernandez.
Oh, yeah,
Hernandez. Okay.
Yeah, so he turned on Hernandez. Then he's like, I can win the titles by myself, and then I can win it with anybody. He put Amazing Red in there. He put a lot of people in there. Then I guess just Hernandez killed him. Then Kevin Nash came out and laid down, and then the Outsiders. You know, this is where the big boys play. They're winning the tag titles in 2010, and it's like, what the hell?
The Outsiders limped their way to the ring.
Yep.
Limped all the way to the ring. Got in the ring. Barely got down for the count. I'm surprised they didn't Great Khali pin them and just put their foot over. But, you know, that's what they did. And they won the titles.
They did.
And they were like, yeah, we're kind of too old, so we're gonna put a young member in there. So they got Eric Young.
And Eric Young, who's hardly doing anything now on that roster. They had a thing with Sanity, and now he's just going for that 24/7 title, their PG version of the hardcore title.
Why they couldn't just have the hardcore title?
I think they just wanted to have fun with it, and I guess less plunder and make it like a comedy thing. Because R-Truth is being hilarious with it. You know, he's getting pinned on the.
He's good with it, but I mean, that's the only person that really matters, honestly. When they do it like that.
It is, but yeah, I don't know. I'll be honest with you. The only thing I really like right now with WWE, the Bray Wyatt thing has been intriguing me. That Firefly Funhouse. What do you think about that?
I think it's getting intriguing and it's creepy. It's like you got to do something. You got to capitalize on it eventually.
Of course. Like I think this is going to pan out to either Extreme Rules, their next pay-per-view in July, or hell, even SummerSlam. I know they got Stomping Grounds, which was originally Backlash, but now we have Stomping Grounds. Like we had Great Balls of Fire last year as a pay-per-view.
Honestly, I would take that name over Stomping Ground.
For real?
Yes.
Okay.
At least it was a good show.
It was.
But Stomping Grounds don't even sound like it's going to be a good show.
I think
you look at the car, you're like, I'll pass.
Yeah, and I think the tagline for it is kicking ass and taking names, Stomping Grounds.
Are they Roddy Piper now?
I know, right? Friggin' they live on you.
Oh man. So look, I'm gonna say stop talking about myself. Well, stop talking about myself. We're gonna talk about you. All right.
Okay. Cool.
I feel like I've been talking long enough, so we're gonna talk about you.
Please.
Let's talk about your show for a little bit. Now, I know you had a couple people on. I listened to a lot of episodes, so I just want to say you do a good job. A great job. You do a great job.
Thank you.
So, as far as your guest goes, like when you picking your guest, are you just like, I need a guest for this week, or you looking for people, searching out for people?
I think for me, as I look for people, I look at the talents that they have, because with podcasting, what we do, and what the beautiful thing about podcasting is, we have the platform to give them to people to tell their stories. Like for instance, you had Christy Owings on. I wanted Christy Owings. I grew up watching Christy Owings. I watched Christy Owings ever since I was 5 years old on all that when she first came on.
Did you tell her that? That make her sound old, probably.
I'll be honest with you. I did, just because I said you were my childhood, and I thank you. I thanked her for my childhood, man. That was my childhood, man. I loved it. The sketches that she did, I thought it was awesome. I appreciate it, and I have nothing but respect for that woman. And I look at, I had Raquel on my show. Raquel, "In a Dream I Love, You Will Find My Heart." I grew up on that song, and we talked about that. Samantha Cole, who was on Shaggy's song, "Love Me, Sex Machine," after Janet Jackson did it. There were so many artists I wanted to interview, and independent artists, give them, a voice to tell their stories, because there's a lot of great people out there making music of different genres, and music's an art form. And wrestling, I mean, I've interviewed people that have been in Ring of Honor, TNA, WWE, who were just on it, very independent stars. Like, for instance, Ring of Honor, I've had on Kelly Klein. I've had on I've had on WWE Amber Nova, who was just on the NXT not too long ago.
Okay.
So there's a lot of people that, you go out to it. And I think I always tell people this: if you want to interview somebody, great, just be professional and be very humble in how you go about it. You know what I'm saying? Because that's very key in what we do. Because if you're just coming like, yeah, I mean, you just have to be very professional about what you do. And don't, if they say no to you, fine, then just keep doing what you're doing, because, people sometimes are not into podcasting. It's not really for them. Just as long as you don't regret.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
If you don't regret, just don't regret not asking, pretty much is what I'm saying. But just exactly. Yeah, man. I'll be honest. I'll be honest with you. I've gone. There's a variety with my shows. When I do like my pop culture shows, when I do my interviews, like I've interviewed people that have even been in the adult entertainment industry. I mean, comics, music, wrestling. There's so many people out there that have a voice to tell their story. Just always be professional about it. And I mean, I look at what they do. I always write notes. It's really kind of like 50-50 with me. Like I write notes because I want to like talk about a certain topic, but I always like free flow with it. Like with what I'm doing now with LFC Lingerie Fighting Championship. The reason I started calling it Beauty, Strength, and Dominance is because I look at the three key elements of who we are as fighters and overall women, because women are a work of art and they all exude and accentuate the three key elements of beauty, strength, and dominance. So that's how that name came into fruition. I always look at it like, just want to do positive and do right by people. Just like I said, just to reiterate, giving them the platform to tell their story. And also for me, it's very rewarding. Like, I'll be honest with you, I've had on Noah Bastian, Alex Solowitz, who are Mickey Park and Chad Linus from Together, the mock boy band that was on MTV. Because I grew up on that, man. I was 8 years old, singing I Know My Calculus. It says you plus me equals us. So that means something to me because I grew up on this stuff.
Okay. See, for my show, I try to get people. I try to get as a lot of people as I can, but for the most part, I like to get people that not do what I do, but like they're more into like nostalgia TV. Like, like say if I have somebody on from a show that somebody remembered, that was like, oh yeah, I remember them from this show and they did this and this. So yeah, I try to get like I'm trying to get as many people as I can, even if I had to record 3 episodes in one day with 3 different people, which I've done before. I do it. So.
Well, I got to give you respect on that, because there's a lot of passion with that. And I think both of us are very passionate in what we do. Like with pop culture, if I have a guest on, whether it be from wrestling or like Christy Knowings or whoever, man, there's a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot to cover. What you do with your show, you incorporate a lot of elements while also being very free flowing with. And that's what I respect with what you do and the mindset that you have. And I can tell you're just going to do fine at what you're doing. And like I always tell people, just stay on their grind. You know what I'm saying? Just stay on your path and everything will come into fruition.
I think for me, like, because I'll be honest, I'm not like I will say proper, I guess you could say proper person.
Yeah.
So I'm not as proper. I'm just like laid back and chill, and like my personality comes out. So I guess they enjoy that over like, I guess, a serious, straightforward interview. Where I just like to have a good time in the interview. So like, because like that can help. I don't know if you know who Alicia O'Toole is.
I do. Ambi, a music blog. Yeah, I've had her on my show.
Yes. So I did something with her a while back, and she said it's your job to make them look good, to make them feel comfortable, to make them be happy, even if they're having a bad day. So I try to take that, and I try to use that, try to make them happy or make them laugh or something to ease the tension.
Of course, that's
basically sometimes you are interviewing a complete stranger. Like sometimes it just happens like that. So you got to lighten up the mood a little bit.
Of course, I aim to do that as well. I mean, you have to do that. Have some fun with it, make them laugh. I mean, it's all about accommodation and comfortability, and I think that's how you have to go at it with each and every show that you do. So I will say this with me, because I did actually, you brought something up that I wanted to talk about, like New Jack Swing, because I love the Teddy Riley stuff and the Bobby Brown. I appreciate the old school R&B from that time, even today with like Girl, I Got My Eyes on You and Guy, like you mentioned, like that New Jack Swing era. So with me, I have to say this to you as someone in the 90s, listening to songs like Candy Rain, by Soul For Real, and then you see what Jacquees was doing, talking about how he's the king of R&B and going right up into Keith Sweat's face, which was hilarious. So I'm just like, Yeah, I think it's just me. I'm an old soul and I appreciate that. So I actually wanted to thank you for that because I appreciate music like that, music from the 90s and R&B. Because I mean, 90s R&B was awesome. Like I mentioned, Aaliyah, there's, Total, I mean, 112, we could be here all day. Just, I always appreciated the 90s R&B.
I will say I am thankful. This is like my third interview in a row where I get to talk about my favorite genre of music, and I'm going to do just that.
Let's do it.
So, uh, I know I do have another episode because Christy told me to save her a music episode, so I'll save her music episode. So
Awesome.
I can get everything away. But what are some of your favorite New Jack Swing songs?
Today, Girl, I Got My Eyes on You, Bobby Brown, My Prerogative, Don't Be Cruel, and pretty much anything on that album. Roni,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I Want to Rock with You, Baby. Uh, I'll be honest with you. I will say this. I was really pissed off when Britney Spears did that god awful My Prerogative cover because I'm like, it's Bobby Brown. It's Bobby
Okay,
Brown.
okay. Now I can't fault her only because she did "Baby One More Time" and like that song is like
Yes. Jam.
that song is like eh, good. Uh, now I'll be honest with you. Britney, I guess she is up there, but a lot of her songs probably just don't get in tune with me.
Okay.
But I do like her songs though. Don't get me wrong, but a lot of them just not for me. Just be honest.
I mean, I understand. Like, I'll be honest with you. Some Britney songs I'm kind of like mad about. Like, obviously, that first album, Your Baby One More Time, from the bottom of my broken heart. Sometimes I run, you drive me crazy. Then we get to like later songs where she's talking about, boys and Don't Let Me Be the Last to Know. They're good, but it's just like, I kind of like when early Britney came out. Then we got to the Oops, I Did It Again album. I think I was more like
Hmm.
99, 2000 Britney.
Yeah, I know. Now the one thing that made me like Baby One More Time. I don't know if you ever seen this movie, Max Keeble's Big Move.
I did with Alex D. Linson. He's in love with the girl, the blonde. Yeah.
Yes, that song kept playing every time he seen her. So you every time he sees her, you get the dun dun dun. You get that beat. So I was like, I would always watch. I was like, where's that beat from? And then when I looked it up and I heard the actual song, I was like, oh, this is a bop, as they say. This is a
Uh,
good song.
Dude, I remember Max Keeble's big movie. I enjoyed Little Romeo was in that movie because Little Romeo was just
Yeah,
coming out with like My Baby and all that stuff before he
he
was
had a
talking.
little rap part in this too. I think
Yes.
I don't think his show was out by then, but
No,
no,
his show
his show
didn't come
was out
out. Yeah, his show didn't come out to like 03, 04 with Master P and
by
all that good stuff.
then. Yeah. I want to talk about all that again. Now, this made me talk about all that just because I didn't realize how many spin-offs they had from all that.
Yeah.
Like they have the Amanda Show, obviously.
Yep.
I don't know if you want to count this, but Drake and Josh is a spinoff of the Amanda Show, so I don't know if you count it as a spinoff of all that
Yeah,
too.
I mean, in a way, kind of because like the mother and Drake and Josh were all from the Amanda show. So yeah, you could
Okay.
kind of count it from a technicality. Yeah.
Okay. Uh, Zoe 101 was actually a spinoff, if you know that, because
Okay.
Jamie Lynn was on like seasons I think 8 and 9, I think, or 9 and 10.
Oh, with all that where she was like the grandmother and doing like all the old woman and all that good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I ain't even looking at the list right now. I know Just Jordan. I don't know if you ever seen that show, but Just Jordan was like one of my shows I liked as a kid.
I do. I
Well,
remember
not
watching that. Yeah.
yeah, that was one of them shows. See, I didn't really like him much on all that, but when his actual show came, I was like, oh, this is actually a good show. It's pretty good.
It
Well,
is.
to me, it's pretty good. Well, pretty goofy probably back then. I look at it now, I probably not like it.
Well, that's the thing. Like you look at some stuff and you're like, why did I watch it? Like I remember when Shaquille O'Neal had that show on Nickelodeon that he used to narrate. Remember that one? I think Robert Richard was on that show from Cousin Skeeter.
Oh my God, Cousin Skeeter, man, that show too.
702 man, remixing Stilo, talking about Skeeter.
Yeah, man, it's a lot of old shows when I watch now. I'm like, ugh. But there's a lot of shows I watch. I'm like, oh, they still good to me. Like I've been watching Smart Guy. I've been
Oh
watching
yes.
Sister Sister. Because all these shows come on like every day on I don't know what channel they come on, I forget, but they come on like every day. Like Smart Guy, Moesha, Sister Sister. I think the Steve Harvey show. They come on every day. So I just turn to that channel and I just leave it on for the day or whatever. I got playing in the background and I find myself enjoying the episodes.
Oh, yeah, I agree. I mean, how can you not when all of a sudden you start hearing when the funk hits the fan, all the people want to jam, come on, get with me.
Oh man, I, I would prefer the Steve Harvey show over all those shows I just named. Just it's like enjoyable, like because I don't really like Steve Harvey, like his stand up. Be honest with you, I don't. But his show is legit, like funny.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, there were so many good stuff and good moments from that show, whether it be him and the principal or, him and Cedric, the entertainer. So, I mean, you had a lot of
Him
great
and
dynamics.
him and Levita getting into
Lavita,
it.
yes.
Yes.
Oh, there was a new edition on that too. Remember at the talent show, they were all performing "If It Isn't Love," and they were like, "You remember that one?" They did like a new edition episode where they were performing at the talent show, and he was helping them
Yeah, I
doing.
remember they did a talent show. Yeah,
Yeah.
yes. Also, uh, I'm trying to think. My shows I liked Family Matters, of course.
Yeah, Family Matters,
I
awesome.
liked I just had it in my Malcolm and Eddie. I like Malcolm and Eddie as well. Probably not sure if you've seen that.
Oh
It's
yeah,
Malcolm Warner from
from the
the Cosby
Cosby Show and
Show.
Eddie Griffin. Yeah.
Eddie Griffin, yes. Um, there's a lot of shows in my head I like, but for some reason this genre of the teen or coming of age genre is just something that I stick to for some reason. Like Boy Meets World, I like.
Hmm.
It's my favorite show. Also, I like Freaks and Geeks. So that is like that show shouldn't have got canceled in my opinion. But I can't say that because it's canceled now or how they would have did. But looking back at it, I'm like that show is like a masterpiece to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think with me, like you're talking about all these shows, I remember watching like Figure It Out with Summer Sanders and seeing all like these people on the show. I mean,
Figure it out.
Yeah, Figured Out was my shit, man. I mean, you see, like the Big Show, the Giant was on there, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, all these people from the dude from Wienerville, all that. Christy Noyes was on there. I mean, Lori Beth Denberg. I mean, so many people. I mean, the girl from the Mystery Files of Shelby Woo. I mean, you saw a lot of great moments of Figure It Out. I mean, I know they tried to like redo it when they came back,
Yeah,
and
I know they brought it. They brought it back, and it was something first. Then it was figured out. Or I think it was brain something.
Brain Surge, Brain Surge,
Brain surge. Yes, yes, yes.
and then yeah,
And
he
they
just
and they changed it, or at least they had the same host or
yeah,
whatever.
they had the
But
same host, and it was kind of like yeah, no,
I mean, when they, it's a lot of shows. Like we not even talk about the game show aspect. I
okay,
wasn't one of those people that really liked the game show aspect, or at least the Nickelodeon game show aspect. For me, probably because I don't know. Maybe I just wanted to watch other stuff at the time, and I thought it was boring. And then I started watching. I was like, oh wait a minute, this is actually entertaining. And
I
then
You know what it was too? Like I remember watching like your Legends of the Hidden Temple, or Nickelodeon Gas, Nickelodeon Guts, and all that good stuff. But I remember the Double Dares with Mark Summers, and then we got the Double Dare 2000 with the other guy, and I was kind of like, it's okay, but it's like nothing can beat the original Double Dare.
and now they got Double Dare again with
Exactly.
I don't even know who doing it, but I seen like the New Day was on there, Keenan and Kel was on there,
Yeah.
so they
You know,
still do good stuff.
you know what the thing with Kel is like. Just to go to Kel for a second, like I gave Game Shakers a try, and I liked. I think the only reason why I watched Game Shakers was just because I
Me and
like.
you both. Me and you both.
Yeah, okay. And I think the one episode I like where he was talking about, your warm, soft buns, and he's singing about, look at you, clam burger, and he's playing the piano. That's like the thing that still cracks me up from that song where he's talking about the warm, soft buns of the burger.
So like when I found out Kel was coming back, I gave the show a try.
Give it a try.
Uh, I didn't like it at first. I'm not saying I grew to it, but I was basically just looking forward to Kel each episode, basically.
Me
And
too.
then I got to a point where I was like, yeah, this show is not worth it for me just to look for Kel and this whole thing. So I just stopped watching. And I thought it went off the air, but apparently they got new episodes.
Well, yeah, and I think everybody on that show has pretty much hit puberty now, so I mean, they're still going at it.
Yeah, I mean, I think shows are. I don't want to say kids not good, but I think the shows are better when the kids are more experienced and when they're older. Because you can get in more stuff when they're older. Like
True.
you can't really do that much. Like Boy Meets World or like what's another show that grew over time? Like Family Matters or
Yeah, and Family
Full
Matters was
House.
Yeah, Full House. I mean, you get a lot of that dynamic when they get older. I think when you look at like where Corey and Topanga were as kids, and then they grow into like middle school and high school, and like so many memorable moments from when they were in middle school and high school. I mean, when Corey is graduating and he's like going crazy because there's chickens in the hallway, like it's such a great prank. Like there's chickens in the hallway.
Like that, yeah. Corey is one of them. I wish I knew somebody like Corey because that is hilarious.
It is.
And there was like there's chickens in the hallway. There was like whoopee.
I mean, there's so many. I mean, that, and I think one of my favorites, like every time Halloween comes around, I'll watch. And then there was Sean, where they do the whole, who's the killer, the janitor, is it Feeney, or oh my God, they killed Kennedy. Kenny. I mean, there's so many funny moments from that show.
There was like what did they say? Only virgins died, and it was like it's like I'm dead. Well, I'll get as sick as I can get without actually dying. And
yeah, because Jack and Sean and Eric are all dead, and then Corey just goes to Topanga, "Thanks for saving me."
Yeah. Oh, they got so many jokes. I don't know how they got away with some of those jokes, honestly.
Well, I think I remember as a kid, like the one episode that they never played on the Disney Channel, like going forward, was the one where he got drunk because he was heartbroken about losing Topanga.
Okay, I know they banned one episode, like period. The prom episode.
Oh yeah, when the promises episode. Yep.
Yeah, because I honestly don't see nothing wrong. I mean, I understand it was about to, but they didn't do anything, so I don't understand why they banned that. But
I mean, yeah, then they're walking into each other's rooms, and the father walks in with Topanga, and then he walks in with his mom. Like, it's funny, but it's just like they never did anything. I guess they didn't want to imply that they were having sex on prom. I don't know, but yeah, there wasn't really anything that bad about it.
Like for me, when I watch shows, one of my favorite tropes, because there are different tropes. One of my favorite tropes is like the misunderstanding episode. Like one episode of Boy Meets World, he tells his mom, "Hey, I went too far with Topanga." She was like, "What do you mean?" He was like, "We ran the back of Chubby's, and she looked so pretty, and I went for it."
And then she's like, "Oh my God!" And then the cup the cup, the mug.
And then he was like, "Yeah, I just went for it. I think I went too far with her." And then she was like, "Oh, I need to sit down."
And then he's like, "No, that's not what happened," because the cup breaks, and she's getting all like, "Oh my God, what did you just do?"
Yeah.
And that's the episode where they first tell "I love you," and then the jean jacket. Oh yeah, good time.
Yeah. So, like I like those misunderstandings because it's like I thought you was talking about this, but you're talking about this, and this. It just makes me funny because the audience knows what they're talking about, but the other person don't know. That's what makes it funny to me, I guess.
I always like the Family Matters episode where Laura and Steve, like, they saw each other naked in the shower and they're trying to keep it on the hush.
Oh yeah, and Eddie's. It's like,
saw
each other naked.
And he's like, "Hey, I walked in on Mom and Dad once when I was 8. If I could get over that, you two can get over this."
Oh man. Oh, that episode was funny.
It was. You know what it is too? Like I look at themes. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but I just want to say I love like a lot of themes. Like the Boy Meets World had different themes. I mean, Jamie Foxx show, and Here Comes Jamie Foxx, and then he did that. It's All I Need, Simple Things Are All I Need. Like Sister Sister changed it up. Like it was originally Sister Sister. Never knew how much I missed you, and then that whole Sister I got my own mind. Yeah, and I mean Smart Guy even switched it up. Towards the end there.
I didn't like they switched though. I like he's a smart guy.
So you didn't like when Omar Gooding was rapping on the towards the end of Smart Guy?
No, not that I didn't like it, but I guess I got so used to the other song to where it's like, yeah, they shouldn't change it.
Every day's another lesson, and my head's in the world. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I think Omar Gooding character was my favorite character on that show. Honestly, I think Mo was my favorite character on the show.
Well, he made the show. He was funny. Morris L. Tibbs, you know what I'm saying? What he's trying to tell TJ, he's like, "You mean it was a gazebo? That's placebo."
I like when they did the money dance, and then
yes.
The money dance was like my favorite. Like if I had like a best friend or somebody like that close, I do money dance with them like everywhere for no reason.
Well, I think him and Jason Weaver had such a great chemistry. Like I always loved when they were trying to teach TJ how to be a bad boy for Kyla Pratt, and they're doing the moves and get your jiggy on, and they're pimping him up and all these, and showing him how to walk and stuff. It's one of my favorites.
I like the episode that had well, okay, I like the episode where they had Destiny's Child on there too, because
Oh yes.
they were all doing all that extra, and TJ was just standing there. It was like, oh, what, we pick him. Simple as that.
Well, yeah, I mean that was the height of Destiny's Child right there, man. No, no, no with Wyclef, and then you say yeah, 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 and then as we got towards the Bugaboo with Kobe Bryant in the music video.
Now, I want to say he was in the actual video. I would want to say
Okay.
they like shot. He was in part of the actual video,
Okay.
or they did like an alternate video. I believe they did like an alternate video. Or something. He was actually in it. Taj Murray.
Yes.
But, I was like, hey, you know, smart. See, the thing that the '90s shows have is like rewatchability that I like. Like, a lot of shows today don't have rewatchability unless they're like, I don't want to say adult-ish shows, but more of the like, say, Big Bang Theories or stuff like that is more rewatchable than stuff they have out today.
Oh yeah, I mean, I look at where I was rewatchable. My mom always used to tell me to go to bed because I'm 27 years old now, but as a grown ass man, and you want to stay up at 2 or 3 in the morning to watch the good old Disney movies like Genius and Phantom of the Megaplex and Mom's Gonna Date with a Vampire and all these nostalgia movies that you loved as a kid. Like, I mean, they actually play like the good stuff at like 2 or 3 in the morning going on the weekends. With what we had.
They always did that.
Yeah, me too, man. I mean, I just appreciated them like you. I appreciate the nostalgia because nostalgia is what hits you. It evokes a lot of emotion. So you gotta love it.
Yeah, I mean, literally, it's like, say, for example, if I do like a episode on like, what's a movie? Smart House. If I do like a whole podcast episode on Smart House, I'm gonna get like the couple people gonna say, "Oh, I remember this movie," and they bring back memories. And then like, say if that bring like 50 people, and then I do like another review on like, I don't know, the 13th year or something, then I'm gonna get like a different set of like maybe 30 or 40 people like, "Hey, I remember this show too." And then they're gonna see the other one. They're like, "Oh, I remember these two movies." It sparks up their interest. That's why I like doing this.
Of course. And I mean the 13th year when he's not a mermaid, he's a merman. And then you got Smart House, when the house is jumping. I mean, they're watching
that song is like, I like that song on the whole album. Even when they had the little performance of the I don't even know what it was.
Okay, so I know what you're talking about. So 5 was singing Slam Dunk to Funk from one of those Disney concerts, and they're doing the choreography in the living room.
Yes. Man, oh, that is, because it looks so green screen, but it looks like they're actually like doing.
Yeah. Well, that's why that's why I always appreciated, like I mentioned, like we were talking about Britney Spears before, like one of my favorite episodes of The Famous Jet Jackson, where they were in the haunted house and Britney Spears is performing sometimes in the what supposedly haunted house that it was where they were doing the dance. Yeah.
Speaking of Britney Spears, she was in something else I was watching. Oh, Austin Powers. Oh my,
yes.
She had the I want to say she had like the guns in her bra or something like that, and they were shooting out.
Yes.
Something ridiculous like that. I could say, oh man, this Austin Powers is like ridiculous. Like, he's ridiculous in many ways.
Yeah. I mean, I was a fan of all 3, so I mean, I think each and every one of them were unique in their own ways and crazy.
I liked all 3. See, when I was growing up, my sister more had control of the television than I did. So, like, from this time to this time, we had to watch what she wanted to watch, and she put on Goldmember a lot. Was it Goldfinger or Goldmember?
Goldmember.
Goldmember. She put on Goldmember a lot to where I almost had all the movie memorized. I am Foxy Cleopatra,
And I'm a whole lot of women.
Yes. Then for some odd reason, they had Dan Aykroyd in there.
Oh yeah, in the beginning when he.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yes. So like that part is interesting to me. And then another part I like, or another trope I like from Austin Powers is when they send the missiles out and they look like objects, like genitals.
Yes.
And they're like, that looks like a big pair of melons. Melons, everybody. Melons.
Or boobs, Aussie. Boobs.
And then they'll look up and they'll be like, "That's a big pair of what? I can't even think of right now."
It could have been like water
No,
guns.
no, they was at a football game. It was the Titans, but the A and the N was missing, so it just said. I'm like, yeah,
Ugh,
that's funny.
it is.
Austin, I heard they were gonna come out with another one, but if they don't, they don't. If they do, I'll probably still watch it because
Me too.
it's just so silly and ridiculous. Now, see, now movies that how would I put this? So one of my favorite actors is Eddie Murphy because I like majority of his movies, but I'll be honest, he had some bad movies.
The Adventures of Pluto Nash.
Yeah. Now I will say some of his movies that they consider bad I liked, like Showtime, him and Robert De Niro.
Yep.
I like Showtime. I thought it was a solid movie. I thought it was all right.
Daddy Daycare.
Yeah, Daycare was all right. I can understand the premise of it, but The Nutty Professor, see, that's one of the movies I like, but I don't like at the same time. Cause like I don't like all the fart jokes and stuff like that, but some of the actual stuff in there is funny. Like when him and
Dave Chappelle.
him and Dave Chappelle or Reggie in the movie, when they go at it, that's the funniest scene in the whole movie to me. And I rewatch. I want to say every week. That sounds too excessive, but like every couple months, I go back and rewatch it.
Hey man, I mean, I was a fan of those. Were you a fan of Nutty Professor to the Clumps, where he's talking about put my beef in your taco and he's singing and the neighbors getting all grossed out?
I saw that like a couple times. I didn't like it all because it was like more fart jokes and more like the hamster got big and the hamster like raped this dude.
Larry Miller, yeah.
Yes, I was like, yeah. I mean, it was okay, but I understand it as a sequel. I was like, yeah, I like the first one better.
That's all
But
right.
a lot of movies, the first ones are mostly the better ones. But
yeah, I was kind of like that with Big Mama's House. Like when Big Mama's House came out, I loved it. Then we got to Big Mama's House 2. Then like Father Like Son with the dude who was in Lottery Ticket with Bow Wow.
yeah, Brandon Jackson.
Jackson, yeah. Something like that.
Brandon T. Jackson, yeah.
Brandon T. Jackson, yeah. I mean, I do Big Mama's House. I mean,
something about me. I like the second one better.
Yeah, I mean, the first two, but when we got to the third one, I was kind of like, yeah. But for me, I think just because of that nostalgia of little Bow Wow's Bounce Me was in there, Jermaine Dupri, Nas, and Monica, I got to have it, taking that sample of Sledgehammer by Peter Gabriel's. I mean,
yeah, I like the second one for Big Mama's House. A lot of what else has a sequel that we can talk about? Like, oh, have you seen Beverly Hills Cop?
Yes, I have.
Okay, so in that series, I like the second one better. I don't know what it is about me when they have a sequel and it's more based on the summertime. I end up liking a sequel for some odd reason.
You know what it was for me? I enjoyed that whole series. I think 1 and 2 were my go-to for that. It's kind of like Home Alone because like when we got to 3 with Alex Stevens, I was like, nah, like 1 and 2 are my go-to.
I mean, if we are talking about Home Alone, I would accept 3. Like,
okay,
I would accept it. I don't think it goes. I accept 3. It's a solid movie, even if when they call it Home Alone, it's an understandable, solid, soft reboot movie.
Mm-hmm.
But 4, 5, and I think 6 just don't appeal to me.
Raven, like I was at that, so I remember that. So Raven, when it came out, did you like Raven's Home when they did that on the Disney Channel?
Okay, so
Go ahead.
I got an explanation for this.
All right.
The show of Raven, That's So Raven,
Yes.
had a certain essence, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that they did pull off that essence in Raven's Home well. Like I think if you watch That's So Raven and you watch Raven's Home, it has the same essence. Like it has the same mentality, and it don't just focus on the kids. Like Raven and Chelsea are not just like throwaway background characters. Like they are actually involved.
Yeah, they focus
Like
on.
Girl Meets World, they did not have the essence of Boy Meets World. Like Corey was barely there. When he was there, he wasn't Corey. He was
Mr. Matthews.
And not even that. He's like he's like a watered down version of Mr. Phoenix, the way they wanted him to be, instead of just being Corey with aspects of Feeney.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
I agree. Yeah, I know.
I don't think they had that same essence as far as like the show. But I think Raven's Home, they put off like it might have not have been the same as far as like feeling, but they still got the same essence. And I think when you got the same essence, it's better. People were accept it more if you got the same energy. Like for like all that. If they have the same energy as those first couple seasons, then I think it'd be successful. Even if it's bad, if they have that same energy, then I think it'll be all right. Because Kim Possible. Did you see the Kim Possible movie?
Why?
See, but that's like for me. Look, the movie wasn't good. I'll say the movie was not good.
Okay.
But as far as the material that they were given, I think they did a good job of using. I think they did a good job bringing the show to a movie standpoint, even if the movie wasn't good. Like,
I think that's a fair assessment. Like they did the best of what they had, but yeah, it's not like like the show is. But they did it well.
Yeah, the stuff that they had to use, like they used throwback stuff. Like they used their material good. It just they didn't make a good movie. If that makes sense.
I understand completely, man. I've had that same mindset about it with a lot of these movies that come out now.
Yeah, I mean, if the movie did look cheap as well. Like I was disappointed in those trailers. But then when I seen the movie, I was like, the movie was bad, but I can understand the why they did what they did.
Mm-hmm.
what I'm trying to think of other comments because oh man, what else? I'm trying to think of what else is Corey's Home. Did you like Corey's Home?
Was that Corey in the House? That one?
Yes. I mean, not Corey's Home. Corey in the House. My bad.
You know what? I had no problem with it. I actually thought it was kind of funny. I thought was funny. One of like his villains on that was played by Jake Thomas, who was Matt McGuire and Lizzie McGuire. So I thought that was pretty cool. I mean, it was fine. I thought they did well with what they had.
I mean, like when I was growing up, I liked it, but then I see a lot of people. I was like, they say they don't like it. I was like, well, I can understand that. Like, I think if you go on YouTube and you go to like the best cinematic scene in TV show history, I think it's like a scene from Corey in the House. It's like a silly scene.
So, yes.
Yeah. I mean, I always like Corey's character, so I guess that's why I like the show like I did.
Yeah, I think with Kyle Massey, like his brother was on Zoe 101, and I liked him as like that character. Yeah. And then, when he was doing like Life is Rough with Mitchell Musso, who was later going to be in Hannah Montana. I mean, he's funny. I like Kyle. I always thought he had that great comedic timing.
Yeah. I always like it. I wish he would come back to Raven's Home, at least for a little bit. Like, I know the dad came back. He was the only person to come back. The dad and Devon.
Yep.
And Chelsea were the only people to come back. Like, I know they're probably not going to have like Orlando Brown come back, but I think Kyle Massey should come back. Like, because honestly, I think the kid does look a lot like Kyle Massey. Booker.
Yeah, Booker.
Yeah, he looks a lot like Kyle Massey. He acts like him a little bit. So I was like, I want to see them two have like a nephew and
nephew uncle kind of dynamic.
Yeah. Like, so talking to you, I brought back, it's like so many memories running through my head. I'm gonna save some of this for your show.
Okay,
like
cool, man.
Your show, if I go all over, I apologize.
Don't even worry about it. We're both two very passionate people about what we do, so it's no problem.
Yeah. So I have this segment come. You listen to my episode with Christy. That was like the first time I involved this segment, even though it's my outro song. I'm gonna start doing a segment called "The End of the Road." Just because it's my outro song, I might as well do something to incorporate my outro song. So I just started having a segment called "The End of the Road." I might have some cool little music or something playing before I do this. Maybe not. I'm still early on, so a lot of stuff I'm doing is still in the works. I haven't got my show perfect yet, so A lot of people got to bear with me, but we are coming up to the end. Is there anything you want to say to the audience, like a special word or anything?
Special word. For those who want to get into podcasting or whatever endeavor that you want to do, I just say go for it. Stay on your path, stay on the grind, and in the end, it will all work itself out and everything will come into fruition. Just pretty much all I can say is just stay hopeful, stay on your grind, and just stay humble, stay respectful, and just do you, and just know that you are worth it.
Yeah, man. So, is there anything you want to plug? You can plug away at anything. How they can get in contact with you? How they can follow you, follow your podcast, everything. Just give it all to them.
Okay, so if you guys want to check me out, we'll start with my shows first. You can check out soundcloud.com/mclarkin92, and it's the S&M Show Podcast Network. For those who want to get their minds out of the gutter, S&M stands for Steve and Mike. It's the Steve and Mike Show Network. We have a lot of shows on there. My buddy Steve has a hockey show called the Stevie Nicks Hockey Experience. I do my interview shows called On the Mic with Mike. I have a pop culture show called the Pop Culture History Podcast. There's so much shows on there. Our main show, Steve and Mike Show. And for those who want to follow pop culture, my Twitter is at pop_culture_pod for the Pop Culture Show. My Twitter is at smshow1 for my shows. And if you want to follow me on my personal account, it's MCL92, my name and the year I was born, 1992. And our official website is www.stevenmikeshow.com. The other thing that I have a project on I'm doing now is the LFC podcast, which is called Beauty, Strength, and Dominance, and LFC stands for Lingerie Fighting Championship. It's a mixture of MMA, pro wrestling, kickboxing, Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, but they are in their lingerie looking beautiful, sexy, and vivacious. And just, kicking ass and taking names at the same time while looking very, very beautiful. And you can check that out on SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/LFC, Beauty, Strength, and Dominance, the LFC podcast on Anchor. On Stitcher, same thing, Beauty, Strength, and Dominance, the LFC podcast, and TuneIn Radio, Beauty, Strength, and Dominance, the LFC podcast. So I'm working on a lot of stuff, and I love what I'm doing. I love to meet and interact with great people like yourself, and I'm happy we got the chance to do this show. I look forward to having you on my pop culture show. So I'm having a lot of fun doing what I'm doing, and for those who want to follow me, please do. I'm very personable, and I'm very interactive with people. So again, thank you all. Just check out my stuff and show some support for the Prime Nostalgia and support myself, man. I'm easygoing, man.
Okay.
I know that was a lot, but I'm very passionate.
Oh, no, it's all cool. I'll put all the links in the description of the YouTube video. I'll put it in the description of the when I put it up on the Google Podcast and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully a lot of people like this episode. They generate towards you.
Right,
well, that'd be good.
Thank you. And I hope you guys enjoyed. I mean, because you and I were talking about a lot, because you and I can go in a different variety because we like a lot of things. So I really did enjoy doing this with you tonight.
Yeah, like when I start talking about like nostalgia and stuff that I like growing up, my mind goes everywhere. Like usually if I have a guest on, I try to keep it to like 1 or 2 paces. But with you, since you're like, pop culture history and all that, I just go here. My mind just goes everywhere. And
it's all good, man. I appreciate it.
And one last thing. I asked everybody this question. You heard it on the Christie podcast.
Mm-hmm.
My saying that I said at the end of my shows is prime time is all the time. And I need a suggestion for you of what I should add at the end.
Well, you have time right there, right? Like prime time is all the time. You could do like the tick-tock of a clock, like it's time, like a kind of deal.
Okay.
There's a suggestion. Prime time is all the time, and then you could do like tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock. Or if you wanted to do prime time is all the time, you could do like, if you want to look for wrestling reference, God rest his soul, Big Van Vader, you could do the it's time.
Yeah. Okay. That's good.
You could incorporate the time stuff, man. Or you could just have, prime time, friggin', Deion Sanders, just prime time.
I know at the end of my last episode, I did like a Ferris Bueller type of thing.
I heard that. I like that. But yeah, I guess I would do like maybe Vader, maybe tick-tock, like a clock, or anything Deion Sanders related. I think it would be cool. Or if you want, I'll give you another one that I also like. This will take it back to TNA for you. Primetime Elix Skipper. Just say my name. Prime time, baby.
Okay. Is there anything you want to say to end this outro? This is a long outro. I understand, people. But that's what happens when your mind is flowing.
Exactly. That's when you get the juices flowing and we just let it flow. Like in Vogue, let it flow, let it flow, let it flow. Singing it on the Wayans Brothers. Oh, we'll be here all day, man. We'll save it for my show. But I think just to end it, I think the last word I could say is just, guys, continue to listen to the Primetime Nostalgia podcast. Check out my work and just support and just, support everybody and enjoy what you're doing, and whatever you are doing, just be happy, because if you're not happy and doing what you're doing, then why are you doing it? So just thank you all for listening.
Yep. And on that note, don't know what I'm gonna add yet. Maybe it will be what I said I was gonna add, which I'll figure out when I go back and listen to it because I forgot already. Oh, the house is jumping. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So maybe you'll hear the house is jumping, or don't know if I'm gonna do a smart house episode, so maybe I won't do the house is jumping. You'll hear something, all right? Just know you will hear something after this. Prime time is all the time, and we're out.
To the end of the road, still I can't let go. It's unnatural. You belong to me, I belong to you.